But this is my point. This is what I wanted to show you. This is why I'm getting new fenders. See that? It's all up in there. Really compressed it. But nothing's stopping it. I have clearance. Look at that. Almost hitting that back bumper. That'll be replaced soon enough, or eventually. But yeah, there's only a surprise, only about a couple inches there. But I think it's all the way over. Oh, this is touching too. What's up with that? Hello, welcome to Paul's Take. Today, we're saying goodbye to the stock fenders. They're all faded. More importantly, it rubs. When I go off-roading, goof around, the tire actually rubs against the fender. Can't have that. So we're replacing those guys. Front and rear. They say it's easy to do and should only take an hour or so. So hopefully I can knock it out within an hour. Let's check it out. So here's the new one in the box. OEDRO. I don't know. OEDRO? I just pronounce it. It came in a pretty good sized box. About maybe 4 feet tall. Weighs maybe, I don't know, 40, 50 pounds or so. All right, so this is how it looks when it's opened up. So it's actually kind of loose in there. There's a little bit of foam, but not really doing anything. This is probably the hardware and instructions. All right. Okay, so that's the rear, the 4. And after. It was a nightmare. So today we're changing out the fender, the front fender. We already switched out the back fender. It came out really well. I spray painted underneath, so it looks nice and finished. My big concern is keeping this plastic, we call it, this thing here, underneath there, the shielding or whatever. I don't want it to be a big old hole, so I'm gonna try to maintain that. There'll be some cutting involved, and I'm not sure how I'm gonna do that yet. So let us begin the process. All right, so I removed it. It wasn't very hard. There was about 5 screws and a bunch of clips. So it came out pretty easily. I'm not sure if this stays on or off yet. So I'll figure that out shortly enough and I'll let you know. I'm starting to think it stays on. I don't know. So I don't see a way it comes off. So we will find out. So here's the inner shroud. Looks like it's 2 pieces to one. There's this piece here, and then there's this piece over here. I don't think I need this top piece. So I'm gonna remove that, try to trim this piece to make it fit back in there. That's the 2 pieces apart. So I think I just trim here. I think I'm good. Okay, I cut it off. Cut off that piece. I used a grinder wheel, one of those guys, and it cut it pretty easily. I just eyeballed it. See how it goes back together. All right, here is the finished product, the front and rear fenders. So I know I said I was going to show you how I installed it or how to install them, but to be honest with you, I didn't really follow the instructions and I kind of did things out of order. And I got myself into a jam a few times. So I didn't really go by the way it's supposed to go. So I don't want to be responsible for giving you wrong advices on how to install this thing. It might fall off, I'm not really sure. So the cool thing, I was able to keep the fender shroud, the inner fender in place. It took some cutting, and it took some duct tape. Oh, that's right, I said it, duct tape. But it's on there. I mean, eventually I will switch them out, get those aftermarket inner fenders. But for now, I didn't want to keep all the stuff all dirty inside, so it's protected. And I did a pretty good job with the tape. I'm like a duct tape artist. So this part here can be cut out. There was no removing that for best I can tell. It seemed like you have to cut that off. And I didn't do that yet. So I still probably will cut that off at some point. But all in all, it was it took me about 4 hours, that's right. They say it'll take about 1 hour to do all 4. It took me about 4 hours to do one because I was trying to figure out how to do it. And then once I figured it out, the other one took me about an hour. So yeah, so it took me much longer than every other video I've seen where it said it wouldn't take long at all. It took me a little time. But they're on, and I do like them. They got some texture to it. Got some mud to it. So, yeah. So I'm impressed. I mean, it's good. Got dirt already. Already got some dirt on there. I didn't go on any trails. I just, some obstacles that I wanted to try out to make sure I have proper clearance. And it did, and no problem. This thing has a lot of clearance compared to what I'm used to. So this is the profile for the front. Looks like it's all wheels on the front. But it's definitely more, you know, more aggressive, more task-oriented. So I think I just figured out how much lift I have. I just got this thing maybe 2.5, 3 months ago, and it came with a lift, or came with the wheels and a lift. But it took me a while to figure out what kind of lift it was. So it looks like a TerraFlex. I believe it's just a 1.5 inch lift, maybe 2 inches. But I think I looked it up. I think it's 1.5 inch, so it's not very much, which is fine. I wanted to just be just high enough to have the clearance for the wheels, and you know, keep the center of gravity as low as possible. I don't think I'm gonna be doing some crazy obstacles, but you never know. I might change my mind later. All I know is right now, it's just high enough where I can get in comfortably without overly stretching. So I can get in pretty easily now. Any higher, and I'll be stretching my hamstrings more than I would like. So we will find out if this will do height-wise and everything else, ability-wise. This weekend, on Saturday, I'm going to Uwharrie, or something like that. It's an off-road park here in North Carolina. They do have one of those Jeep badge honor trails. So I'm gonna try to get my first badge. I haven't been on a real trail. Man, first I didn't think I did, but I did it way back when in my 20s. I was on a trail in California. It was pretty epic, and I was there for a long time. So this will be the first one in a long time. So I'm really excited, a little nervous. So watch out for that video. It'll be coming, I don't know. So I plan on doing a lot of video, so it'll probably be a lot of editing involved. So sometime next week, check for that video. And if you see this video beforehand, we'll be there probably around noontime. You should go down there and check us out and join us. It's actually just gonna be me and a friend. They'll be in my vehicle. They're not taking their vehicle because they're afraid. They're chicken little, but we will see. Well, anyway, so far, I like the fenders. I think it looks good. It definitely gave me clearance, so I have no problem there. So that is my take. Sorry I couldn't show you how to install it. I really screwed up though. I'll tell you a little story. So what I did was, and I was waiting, I don't want you to try this at home, but I wanted to keep the shroud on. So I had this great idea to put the shroud on first. Well, that was a bad idea, because when you do that, I didn't realize that if I didn't do it, I realized on the second one, that there's actually access to the back of these plugs. These plugs are a bitch to get in, right? Push plugs. Well, and there's also, I didn't go online to see how to install them, because there was no the instructions were so vague. I didn't know, I couldn't figure out how to do it myself. So I kind of just wung it, made it work. But there's plenty of videos I learned afterwards that show you how to install them properly. And apparently it's not that hard. I just didn't know what the hell I was doing. So, but I figured it out my own way. By basically, if I put the shroud on second, but then, yeah, it's kind of complicated, but basically on the second one, what I did was I taped it, but I didn't seal it. I let it hang. That way I had access to the back of it. And I just basically held on to the back of it and put it in. So that was kind of the way I did it. If it doesn't make sense, it would make sense if you bought this thing and looked at the instructions and looked at the plugs, and you would know what the hell I'm talking about. But check out, I think they're called push plugs. I didn't know the name of them. I think they're called push plugs. You can go online on YouTube and it'll show you how to do it. And there's a lot of videos that show you how to do it, but I didn't see any until afterwards how to do the push plugs. All right, so that's my advice. Check that out first before you install it. It's not really that bad after that. I mean, it's not technically all that hard. It was just a matter of getting those plugs in. That was the only thing. Taking it off was pretty easy. Just getting those plugs in place. And then that was the challenge. All right, well, that's enough for now. Check out my video. Make sure you like, subscribe so you can see me in Uri, how you pronounce it. It's like, I think it's Uri in North Carolina. My first Jeep, what do they call it? Jeep Honor Badge Trail. Yeah. Thanks for watching, Paul State. Oh, and I also got a new cover for my tire. That's right. So if you see me coming down the road, give me a honk. I'm going to wave you anyways. PT Paul's Take on YouTube. I know I spelled it wrong. I did that on purpose though. It's a technical reason. The company would not write down YouTube the proper way because they were afraid to get sued or something by YouTube. So I had to do it like that. But that came out pretty well. Thanks for watching, Paul State.